Hello, my name is Nicole Jamo, and thank you for joining us for another sit down. As you know, we have the Zim Business Expo this year, 2025, the first edition happening in South Africa, and we also have the UK edition. And just as a build-up to this year's Zim Business Expo, we've been sitting down with all of our sponsors and contributors who will be exhibiting at the expo and also giving us some of their insights in terms of how they're running their businesses in the country and in the diaspora. On this particular edition, we are at Thaton Property and we're actually on site. And I must say, I'm so impressed with these apartments. And I'm not just saying that because we're on camera and because we sponsored the Zim Business Expo, but they really are very, very good. I'm joined by Strive, who is the head marketing for Thaton Property. Welcome and thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Nicole.
So let's start off with Thaton Property. Who are you and what exactly do you do in Zimbabwe?
Okay, so Thaton Property is a property developer in Zimbabwe. We are about 10 years old in Zimbabwe, but we started our business in South Africa many years back when the owner of the brand went to study, and then he started property development, and then he went into property development in South Africa, and he has built from casinos to hotels, 5-star hotels, to corporates, head offices for corporates, and restaurants. And he has won many awards in that field.
You know, you speak of such big contributions in the construction industry, but I'm very keen on hearing your contributions in the rental space. Like, we are now in a residential property that you're building as Thaton Property. How far have you gone, and what would you say is your contribution to the overall development of construction in the country? Okay,
so in Zimbabwe, this will be our first residential development. This development started sometime in 2023, and then in 2024, this development, as you see, it has already won an award.
Wow.
We love awards. The CEOs of Zimbabwe voted this the best residential development in Zim. And in terms of rental space, you might want to know that all our 32 one-bedroom apartments here have been sold out. And they've been bought by people that most likely will be renting these units to third parties. And we will continue building in this space. Our next development, not far from here, will not necessarily try to address the the rental space, but it will also be an upmarket development like what we have today.
But of course, you know, the property space, the construction space has been expanding in Zimbabwe. And I'm very interested in knowing what sets Thaton Property apart from your competitors. What is that one thing that you're very proud of as a company?
I think it should be quality. When I sit down with my boss and we talk, he says he wants to distinguish himself from the Zimbabwean developer because the Zimbabwean developer is known for wanting to cut corners.
Right.
For example, there are certain quantities that you want to build this particular building. So we'll use the right quantity. We'll use the right material. We'll source the best material. And we even the issue that we give terms, we almost like a lender because we're giving extended terms that most developers will find it very difficult to match. For example, if you were to buy this unit today, we only want 40% deposit and the balance in up to 6 to 7 months at only 12% interest rate per annum.
That's a long time. Yeah.
That's a long time. And most people, maybe talking about the diaspora people, they will be able to afford buying here, because we give those extended terms at a very affordable interest rate. So how do we set ourselves apart? It's the quality of the product that we're producing, which you have witnessed.
Now, the Zim Business Expo is a direct child of the Zimbabweans in a diaspora organization, ZIDO. And as you know, the thrust is particularly on Zimbabweans who are in the diaspora. And the country right now is speaking on reinvesting back home, and we're trying to get people from outside the country to come back and bring their money in the country. Now, as a company that's in property, how have you seen that trend with your customers? Is it something that you've been attesting to, that you are appealing to a diaspora market and they're actually coming to buy property in the country?
That's a very good question, and it made me thinking. On the top of my head, I can think of a client who bought from the United States, and she came in December, and she came in January, and she saw the development and she was impressed. I can also remember a client who is residing in Australia, and they're thinking about coming home, and they were looking to buy an apartment in Harare, and the same quality that they saw in Australia, they saw it here. For example, our double glazing. Even the next thing will be, if you look at the size of our units, we are not massive houses like our parents build in the suburbs. We are minimalistic in what we're building, but we want something that is clean. We want something that is that will foster maybe living close to each other.
Right, and it's very modern too.
It's modern. So that's another good way of describing it. These are modern apartments. If you go into South Africa, you'll probably see a residential development exactly like us in terms of everything.
But I mean, speak to me about the expansion drive. You know, construction is happening everywhere. How do yourselves as Thaton Property see yourselves, getting into more construction projects aside from this, obviously?
Okay, so we're not telling the market as yet, but our next development, which will be a residential development, is already at an advanced stage, and with clients that are buying here saying they will also want units in that development. And we are in that particular development, without wanting to devour too much, it will not be maybe for the same bracket that we are targeting here, because our prices here are low. I think that's one thing that you can distinguish ourselves from the rest of the market. For the unit that we give, 99,500 excluding VAT for a one-bedroom unit, that's a bit low. But we will be targeting slightly higher bracket in the next development. So we will build lots and lots of residential spaces, but we are also selective. For example, we will not be going into Harare South. I'm not saying there's something wrong with Harare South, but for the product that we want to build, we think in Harare North, people will be able to afford that price, and they'll be comfortable in paying the price for as long as you're in maybe between Enterprise and Second Street Extension, that area.
But it's no secret that Zimbabwe has had its fair challenges, and as any other country in the world, any other community. What would you say has been the biggest challenge that you faced in the construction sector?
That's an important question as well. I think the issue of funding is really key. If we were in South Africa, I was in Botswana a few days back, the finances are readily available. Suppose we had all the monies that we needed to build this development, by now we would have finished building. But our challenges with the banking, and the people also in Zimbabwe not banking, it's not something that we created. So if we were to go to a bank and ask for money, they'll probably charge us very high interest rates. They'll probably won't lend to us, maybe because we are a new corporate, or they will lend very little to us at punitive rates. So we are self-funding. Self-funding means the same money that we're getting from selling, we're selling off plan. The same money that we're getting from selling the units is what we are putting into construction. Because of the economic hardships, sometimes the uptake is low. We have sold our one-bedroom apartments. We have almost sold out our two-bedroom apartments. As we sell a three-bedroom unit, one three-bedroom unit, we are able to do much more. So we will deliver, but our pace of delivery is slowed down by the economic hardships that we have in the country.
So in a perfect setup, what changes would you ask for if you're given the platform, say, this is what we're able to do to make business easier for you? What would that be?
In a perfect setup, I would have the money that we have outside the banking system in the banks, so that when corporates and entrepreneurs want to borrow to finance development, they can go and get all the finances that they'll need. If we had all that money available, perhaps by today we would have finished building all the residences. Then we'll be waiting for people to buy, and then we can go and pay back. In a perfect setup, I would want a normalized banking system.
Right. I think it's good that we have this on camera. So those that are watching, please, if you can help us to enact this, let's see that happen and make business easier, especially for Thaton Property. But, coming back to the thrust of the Zim Business Expo, you're coming in as a sponsor. Someone at home could be thinking, what's the correlation between property development and those in the diaspora? How did these two come together in the Zim Business Expo? So if you can, please explain why you see this collaboration between Thaton Property and the Zim Business Expo as something that's important for your business and for the country as well.
I think it is very important because even in your family, you might have people that went abroad for whatever reasons some time ago. And when you live in other countries, I've also lived in South Africa for 17 years, you may be comfortable and stuff, but it's not your space. It's not your place. Home. It's not home.
Yeah.
So people go and invest and go and work there for a good number of years. At a particular point, they want to come home. So we are saying, while it's just still there, while it's just still able, buy something in Harare, buy something in Zimbabwe. When you are away, you can rent it out. You can get a rental income. For example, a one-bedroom unit in this development will fetch between 1,100 and 1,300 per month. That's a very good return for 99,500 that you have spent.
Yeah.
If you buy a 3-bedroom unit like this one where we're sitting, it will get you maybe between 2,500 and 3,000 per month. If you were to compare rentals that you can get in Johannesburg or Cape Town or in London, I think we're very competitive. So if you do have resources like this, I would encourage you to invest at home. Even if you never come back, you will still get rental income from your own country. Should you decide to come back one day, you will have a place to arrive, you will have a place to come and live in.
Mm-hmm. What are your expectations from this year's edition of the Zim Business Expo, particularly the South African edition?
So we want to talk to the South African Zimbabweans or Zimbabweans that are living in South Africa. If they do have the resources, if they are looking for a property to invest in, we are providing you the best offer because of our extended terms, because of our low prices. And even if you are not able to come up with a deposit of 40% for a one-bedroom unit is 40,000. We will give you extended periods for as long as you are giving us a sizable chunk. Suppose somebody is able to pay 10,000 per month for 10 months. We can also make a deal. So we want to appeal to our Zimbabweans who live in South Africa. If you are around Johannesburg during this weekend, come and see what we have to offer.
So for those that haven't caught the dates yet, we will be in South Africa on the 24th of May in Johannesburg. But just in closing, as we close off this conversation, which I would have loved to carry on forever, what would you like to say for those that, one, would like to purchase property in the country, and second of all, for those that are looking for an investment opportunity? Because this is a good line of business, as you've been saying. If you want to rent out, there is leeway for people to be making a living and to be making a profit out of this.
Yes. So if you look at this development, even other developments that were done by other developers, there's one aspect which I didn't bring to you, which I want to bring, maybe then come back to your question. It's not only the rental income that you stand to benefit from Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe's property market has always been robust. When we deliver this development, say by December 2025, if somebody were to come to you after you buying this unit for 260,000, even if they would offer you 320,000, it will not be a good deal because the property prices in Zimbabwe generally go up. And we've seen similar developments like this one. After 2 years, people would have experienced capital growth of up to 100% or more. So I'm saying you would have bought for 260. In 2 years' time, this unit could be worth 400,000. So if you were to look around in the world, where can you get returns like that? So there's rental income, there's you investing at home, there's capital growth as well. But suppose you come back, for whatever reason, you have a place to stay of your own.
And thank you so much for joining us in this conversation. For those that might not have been looking at the statistics, the current valuation of our construction industry in the country is at 10 billion.
Wow.
And just like Strive was saying, it could go beyond that in the next few years. So this is your chance really to come back and invest home. But thank you so much to you, Thaton Property, for making this a success. and for contributing towards our drive. Of course, we are encouraging Zimbabweans to reinvest back home, particularly those that are in the diaspora. We look forward to seeing you on the 24th of May in South Africa. We'll insert all the details here in case you also want to sponsor and put your money and come and exhibit and tell the world about your business. We're open for business too.